My absolute favorite time of the week is when I get to dance, maybe, to the music that's queued up, possibly behind me. The way these things are set up, I never really know. And welcome, Internet! You are watching NonPro's TV Party, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. recap show. I'm your host, Frank, joined not at all in studio by Matt. Hi, Matt. How are you?
Hello. I'm doing well. How are you today?
I'm pretty good. On NonPro's TV Party, we do a live Google Plus Hangout series, which is just me and Matt. No, we usually have other people here. We may have more people during the show. We geek out about our favorite television shows and invite you all to join along. We're not just dwelling on TV. We are watching it. May have transposed
Wait
that.
a minute.
Yeah. In this episode of NonPro's TV Party, we're going to do Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the latest episode. I think it's episode 12 in Season 2.
Yes.
Called Who You Really Are. And in Who You Really Are, we get to explore that question thoroughly as confused Lady Sif appears and everyone's laundry is hung out to dry. This was a pretty impactful episode, as in it happened way quicker than I thought it would happen, in my opinion. So, yeah.
Yeah, this was an interesting episode. I mean, I will say I liked it, but like I felt like the way it was set up, it seemed like it was supposed to be, I don't know, almost like a filler episode, but like a bunch of important stuff happened in this episode. So like it was really important stuff, but I don't know. It felt like very different than what the past previous couple episodes of the since they've been coming back.
Right.
I don't know. I enjoyed it.
I thought it was good. I feel like I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think it's a good show. I enjoy it a lot. I feel like there's a lot of people out there who don't like it necessarily that much. I don't like dwelling on those people because just like any show, there's going to be people who like it and people who don't. I do feel like that some of the people who don't like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. want to like it, and that is more interesting to me than anything else. And I think it's episodes like this that kind of does it for people. It's sort of, this is the second episode since they've come back, and if you're already getting inconsistency, that's not quite a good look, on your TV show. I love the first episode. I love last week's episodes. This episode was okay, but it wasn't until I started this hangout and I looked up the title of the episode, and I realized, yeah, Who You Really Are. Yeah, that is really what the entire episode was about. It was about figuring out who these people are, and I'm pretty surprised, and I may have to eat crow on this, but I was pretty surprised that so much had been revealed in this seemingly filler-esque episode. So the basic premise is that Lady Sif appears in a sort of washed up on shore. She doesn't know who she is really, and she knows she's out looking for something, trying to protect Midgard from some horrible threat, which we find out is pretty cool. It's actually a big blue Kree. I love it whenever they name something. I'm a big fan of naming the thing you're talking about. On Arrow, the other comic company's TV show, it's kind of frustrating that no one is referring to him as Green Arrow. But they eventually, like after a year and a half, got to call him Arrow. That's close. But yeah, when the fact that somebody's like, I'm Kree, and he like poses for the camera, mugs for a minute, that was cool.
We even got Kree backstory.
Yeah, we got a little bit of backstory. I feel like it's... So I'm in one of those positions where, again, just to mention the other guy, on Gotham, what I love about Gotham is watching it with my parents because they are genre blind. They do not understand anything that's going on in Batman or the Batman universe. So like they don't know. So everything that fans say is heavy-handed, they think is amazing. They thought Edward Nygma was like cute. They notoriously, I've talked about this before, they think that Alfred may have done it. Because he's the butler, and they're more likely to see that trope or that cliche than to see of course, all these people are jokers. Right. They don't see that. So I'm not sure if the Kree backstory with the Inhumans was too much information or like just the right amount of information. I thought it was good, but I can't watch it from the experience of a person who has no idea what the Inhumans are.
Yeah, I can understand that. I feel like what they're really going for, they want to present something for the viewer that's following the MCU in its entirety. Like they've been there since Iron Man 1. They've like watched the movies. They kind of follow it. Now they're watching S.H.I.E.L.D.
Mm-hmm.
So like they're aware of phase 2, phase 3, all that kind of stuff, and they're aware of what's coming up, and like they want to set the groundwork for it to give like those viewers kind of like a morsels like, hey, there's something that you could look forward to, or like here's something that like we're gonna tease building towards, and that like that's really people that do that. They love that stuff. I know a lot of people like absolutely loved it when they like started name dropping Kree and giving them their story. But I do agree, like very rarely we get much from people like your parents that just want to watch a television show, and now
Right.
all this stuff is being dropped on them without. I feel like a lot of people might wonder, like, so what? Why should I care?
Yeah, there's a lot of info dump in this. I feel like they did a good job. They at least did a fair job
Mm,
of walking that line between info dump and like as this information was being mentioned. I mean, the number of times that Kree and who that Kree has a name. I don't remember what it is, but he does say the line, "I happen to have a name." This Kree has a name. Um, but the number of times that he refers to Inhumans or the creatures that are, I don't think they've actually referred to them as Inhumans, but as like living weapons and extremely dangerous, and we need to wipe them out while Sky is watching, is I think that the reaction shots from her. So a lot of this is on Chloe Bennett's like shoulders. Like she has
mm,
to sell this on her
absolutely.
reactions. And I think she does a very good job of it. I think she looks like a person who just discovered her friends are possibly really racist against her, and she has to like walk that tightrope and figure out who she is. I don't know. I think it was a fair attempt at it.
I,
Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree, and like it's really, really cool to see how a lot of people were really down on Chloe Bennett at season 1. They really thought she was the weak link of the show, but like she's really, I think, stepped out especially with her being revealed as the like kind of like the first Inhuman, like this role, like this brand new part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I think she's done a really great job on selling, the reactions of like the racism and kind of like her fear of having these new powers. Um, but yeah, I will definitely agree that like I think they did a pretty good job at making sure like straddling the line.
Right, yeah. There's a lot of mysterious things. Like again, we try not to spend too much time on the people who don't like it for no other reason than they're not going to be watching a review show about it. But there's also these weird things that have dogged the show from the beginning, including like the race. Like we've to review this. Not only was like Chloe Bennett knocked for her delivery, but I think a little bit for her also the fact that she's a young master hacker, and that
Yeah.
is a cliche that I think is tired, but that they're not really relying on it much anymore. But also there's some questions about race and the cast, the original cast. I remember once reading that there was something like the majority of the cast was white, when I don't think that's true. It was very weird. It was very dismissive of everybody like who either from their acting or their type of character they were playing or the actor who was portraying the character. There are people who do dig on the show for things that seem bigger, like much more meta, much more like a mirror to whatever's going on in their lives. But whatever.
Hmm.
So a lot of things were revealed in this episode.
Yeah.
I want to say, because it's at the very top of my list, I have to mention this. Lady Sif, adorable and badass. Adora badass. There's something about the way that I love it. It's just she's really good. But she's, of course, the only character that is allegedly amnesiac in this, but we do still find out a lot about the inner workings about everyone. So Bobby Mack, could not believe they're revealing as much as they did. I could not Like I was surprised that we went right into the conflict with the rest of the team.
Yeah, that stinger at the end of the episode with Mac choking out Hunter, it was like,
Yeah.
okay, I mean, if you're gonna have a stinger, like if you want to have it like a shock, okay, yeah, that definitely shocked me, but like I have no idea how they're gonna work next with it without like kind of revealing this whole entire big plot line, unless
I think that's it. I think they're going to reveal it.
they're I guess reveal, and I guess it's gonna be leading to something bigger. I mean, because like it feels like weird if they just end as like okay, so like they fight Mac and Bobby, or maybe there's some kind of understanding, even though they kind of choked out like their newest full-time team member. It's, I mean, on one hand, like I'm intrigued now. I want to know what's gonna happen. But like on the other hand, is like I don't know. Maybe you showed their hand a bit too early. I mean, I thought the same thing before, and they've stuck the landing in the past. So I'm not gonna judge until I see the next episode.
Yeah, I'm prepared to wait, but this is the thing I've been most worried about in this episode is a lot of the things I thought were going to be slow boils were revealed, like Fitz and Simmons. I really thought, Simmons was going to like brew and become more and more scary in her xenophobic zeal, but it was immediately like this second episode in, we know that Daisy has powers, that Sky has powers, and that Fitz was like trying to hide it. Like all of this is immediately revealed, and I feel that's weird. I'm not used to that in my network television.
Yeah, that was. Oh, we have a Cappy. Hello.
I've been here for like a few minutes, but I'll let you guys talk. I'm gonna let you finish.
Good
But yeah, I got mad theories up in this.
Lay one on us.
Yeah, lay it down.
All right, I think Mac
should have called his bluff. He has not.
And the other dissenting members of Team S.H.I.E.L.D. are actually part of another organization. I'm thinking maybe Hammer.
Okay.
And that's obviously, I think that's who Mac has been talking to this time, and I think they don't trust Coulson with the leadership of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I think this season finale of this season is going to boil down to a crazy Civil War-esque showdown
between different factions who want to try to control S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah. I think that's reasonable. Holy crap. All right, your stupid idea gave me a great idea. I get this feeling like AJ said, I have a feeling like it's another good group as opposed to it being, it's not Hydra, clearly, but a lot of it being Leviathan or some other like evil group. I feel like it's some other like maybe even S.W.O.R.D., which doesn't make sense. Why would S.W.O.R.D.? But like, but I feel like we haven't seen a lot from Maria Hill.
Yeah. So
if anybody would be doing this, it's somebody who's already had guest star power on the series. That is not an exciting reveal, in my opinion.
Well,
Maria Hill
actually,
or Sam Jackson, not that big a deal.
I think I could. I now have my own theory now on how to make Maria Hill exciting. Because like first off, I think the Hammer theory does have some credence. They did tease Hammer, that one episode where the team went to not the Triskelion, but like the other S.H.I.E.L.D. base. There was a directory that led to the Hammer division, in a blink and you miss it kind of moment. But also keep in mind at this point, Maria Hill works for Stark Industries. So if it turns out that they're working for Hill, who's in turn working for Stark, and then in the finale you get Robert Downey Jr. as walking in as Tony Stark. I think that would be crazy exciting, and Robert Downey Jr. has said in the past, like, if he wants to guest star in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So if
that's
it leads
awesome.
to that I think that could be really interesting, and also kind of gives a neat little parallel to kind of like what Howard Stark was doing in Agent Carter, kind of like him working behind the background,
right?
Like kind of might do a little neat like father like son kind of thing. There's a whole bunch of things they could really do with this if they go in that direction.
All right, we're gonna go back, and now I'm gonna take another turn. I'm gonna think it's old Peggy Carter. No. All right. So yeah, all right. It's fun to theorize on what's going on. I am still surprised. I don't know what that says about me and what I'm used to with television. I feel like I'm kind of I've been abused in the past. It's like, yeah, I know that I thought this plot line would be drug out over a course of years, but or not really years, but I thought it would be like towards the end of the season. There's more, of course. Fitz and Simmons. I feel I'm a little. I don't know what I feel about that again. I feel like I wanted that to brew and be a little bit more devastating.
Yeah, you were hoping for more dramatic tension between them, not just one scene of dramatic tension and then up. Here it is.
Because it's pretty bad from Simmons' perspective. It's a little bad what Fitz was doing, but it was what, a couple of days, maybe a week. It could have been a month. I'm not sure.
You've been keeping this from us all this week.
Yeah, and it seems like it's a little less, drastic. There wasn't a lot of consequences for him keeping it, other than like an earthquake, but that didn't seem to hurt anybody.
It seemed to break all the windows in the building.
Yeah. So
which was also kind of lackluster.
And from Fitz's perspective, it's like, hey, no, I knew you were going to be okay. I just wanted to give you a couple of days to cool down. Like it doesn't seem like it's the worst betrayal. And it felt like while they were playing it up for last episode, it looked like it could be like a potentially devastating betrayal. I'm still kind of on the fence about it. I will say, however, the conversation they had afterwards were sort of like, well, why didn't you tell us? This was our decision too. Don't be a jerk. And obviously, I didn't mean that about Sky. She's one of the good ones. so much racism. But yeah, I think those were interesting scenes.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting that they actually pulled the trigger on that. I feel like I don't know. On the other hand, I feel like the fact that like it was so soon, it kind of made Fitz's verbal smackdown a lot more. You want to take more on his side because, like, yeah, it wasn't really anything. It's not like anything too devastating happened because the secret was kept, but the fact that like there was in that short period of time a lot of scary talk about what they want to do to potentially Sky.
Right.
That like Fitz calling everybody out. It was like, yeah, I mean everybody's being a jerk.
I feel like, dude,
calling out on the jerks is, I don't know. I feel like that's Fitz coming in and being the voice of reason and everything during this part of the season. I kind of like him in this role, being like the guy that actually has the perspective on everything, even though he's oddly like the odd one out in that sense.
I think that's kind of what makes him appropriate to be the voice of reason, is that since he's has to be withdrawn, since he has problems speaking and problem communicating with other people, he's forced onto the sidelines so he can get a better vantage point of what's happening to everybody.
Right.
And it might lead to him having a sounder reason and judgment. I think also maybe they didn't want this to stew too long because they want the audience to side with Fitz. I feel like they want us to like Sky and be rooting for Sky. So if Fitz comes across as
people died
necessarily do as the heel, it's gonna mess up because he's the only one who's on Sky's side right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I want to quickly go through 3 or 4 things I didn't like about this episode.
Okay.
All right. Number 1, they're all kind of like I'm on the fence of. When the agents formed like a wall between Sky and the Kree, I thought it was nice. Like she's our family now, but it was kind of schmaltzy. It was a little schmaltzy. Like, I don't know. It didn't hit me. Like they didn't deliver that. They didn't stick the landing there.
I can see it. I kind of liked it, but I can understand where somebody.
I'm on the fence about it. Like I'm like, 2, and you might fight me on this one. May is way too self-aware of her shtick. Like there's too many scenes where she's like, "Do you know who I am? I'm totally gonna beat you up." Sky was like, "Well, I didn't want to have to hurt you. I didn't want to have to try to hurt you." When she was pulling back during it's like it's too much. May, we know who you are. Don't be so self-aware of your shtick. I'm not a big fan of that.
Okay.
I guess there's only one more. Sky walking in on them when they're talking about her. If they had immediately cut to the Three's Company theme song, I would have been like, "Yep, that's accurate." Yeah, Mr. Furley's gonna walk in like, "Oh no, I thought Fitz and Simmons were gay." It's just so bad. It was just like, why were they? They're spies. They should have shut the door. I know all the glass broke and everything was a glass door, but there was a very Three's Company moment. I did not like that.
Although, oddly and funnily enough, speaking of that, there are some theories that Mac and Bobby, like, deliberately were kind of being antagonistic, sounding towards Sky, so she would overhear. Like, as, like, I don't know, some people think like they might be working with Cal or something like that. So like they're trying to drive Sky away from the team, or maybe not with Cal, or maybe they want to, I don't know, use Sky for their own reasons. But yeah, that seemed very kind of odd. How, like, you know, two super spies laid their feelings like out in the open without, you know, being self-aware of like who's around.
Right.
Some people think it might have been deliberate.
They have been doing that though.
Yeah.
They've been doing that in the last few episodes, just being overly emotional in situations. This is what, like, when Coulson comes, this is what we're gonna do, team, and Mac starts PMSing all over the place. I mean,
What?
Why are we doing this? We can't do this. This is not how a team operates. And it's like, you follow the leader. Obviously, Mac and Bobby don't like the way Coulson's leading the team, and I think what they're going for is having the team dissolve completely.
Cappy does not represent the views of the rest of the station. Oh, you're awful. All right. So, despite that, where's my damn list? Yeah, I feel like, well, it was a weird episode. Yeah. I will say, next week's episode, a Cal heavy, Kyle MacLachlan heavy villains episode, I'm super excited about.
Yeah, this seems like an episode that's all for the fans wanting, we need more superpowers. Okay, let's throw a whole entire team against the agents. Let have like more Kyle MacLachlan. Like, I'm totally on board with this.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. So I guess that's it. Does anybody have any parting words they'd like to say about this episode or an upcoming one or the series in whole or television in general?
Trying to think if there's anything else.
That sounds like
I was gonna. I know. Look, the Kree guy. He was actually kind of a nice dude.
Yeah, I actually kind of like that.
I thought that was kind of neat. Like, he was actually, I need to hunt her down, but like, you know, I'm actually I'm a reasonable person.
He really didn't hurt anyone either. He's like, I'm just gonna use this non-lethal device to go figure out where this person is.
Yeah, he definitely, has an ulterior motive that he kind of told, which was we're embarrassed by this and we don't want more Kree to say, oh, great, let's make more weapons. I get it. He's a very nice villain, as far as villains are concerned. I would not mind seeing him again. All right, that about wraps it up for our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. review show. If you enjoyed it, subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/NonPro. Thank you all for listening. We got some great stuff. Our March Madness is going on right now, so go to non-productive.com/vote and vote. We have 3 outstanding close calls. They're going to be over by the end of the night, so go vote. You vote for Kate Bishop, or I guess the other guy.
Or other people.
Yeah, whatever.
Hawkeye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.